Donna here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about an unfortunate side effect of having teeth extracted, and that is bone spurs and bone fragments. Now, I know the bone spurs can be an issue even for those that have had an alveoplasty done. Alveoplasty is the procedure, like, I don't know if you're aware, so I'm about to school you. Your jaw is made up of two different layers of bone. Okay, there's the one layer down here at the bottom, and I don't know what that's called because I'm a dipshit and forgot to look it up. But the top layer is called the alveolar layer. And the alveolar layer is where the roots of all of your teeth sit. Now, when you get extractions, especially if you have breaking or broken teeth or root tips in there where your teeth are gone all the way down to the gum line, little pieces of bone can splinter off while your dentist is pulling your teeth or trying to remove those root tips, and they get lodged in the alveolar layer or in the gums around the alveolar layer. So that's alveoplasty is going in and removing as many of those as the dentist can find after he's all done with your extractions. Now, I was aware of the little bitty bone spurs, and they can be really painful. If bone spurs are left behind, they will work their way out of your gums on their own, anywhere from the very next day after your extractions all the way up to when the fuck ever they feel like it at any point in the future. And that includes years down the road, which does not sound comfy to me. I would freak the fuck out and wonder what was going wrong with my teeth, because my teeth are aftermarket teeth, and I would be like, oh hell no, not again. And so maybe I can save somebody from that little shock by making y'all aware of bone spurs and alveoplasty. Okay, wow, that looks really weird when I do that. It looks like my hands are ginormous, but they're teeny. So I was aware in the first place of the bone, and forgive me for looking over to the side, I'm looking at my notes, because I actually spoke with a viewer recently who has something a little more involved than bone spurs going on. She has actual tooth fragments, big frickin' fragments of teeth coming through the sides of her gums right now. I can't imagine what that feels like. I cannot begin to imagine what that feels like, and I don't want to. But she had a few things to say on the matter, and I'm gonna kind of give this back to you. I want to make sure to use her own words. She's not the video making type, so she asked me to mention this in a video. So rather than just giving the short form of it and maybe missing something that she thought was important for me to share with you all, I'll just go ahead and share what she had to say word for word. And I will be reading off of a screen, so, you know, if I'm looking off camera, that's why, okay? And her name is Christina, and she is a lovely, lovely woman, and she was very, very patient in answering all of my questions that I had for her after she explained her initial problem to me, and she's just fantastic. So Christina said, all I had left in the back of my mouth was roots, and well, my teeth basically shattered during the extractions, and pieces were left behind as the dentist couldn't see them. This has made it damn near impossible for me to wear my dentures for more than 2 hours at a time without being in pain. At one point this past week, I just wanted to scream and throw them away. I won't, but I felt like it. My dentist said they will work themselves out, but waiting for that to happen sucks. I'm not talking little splinters, I'm talking the whole side of a molar that is pushing out the side of my gums right now. I know I'm probably not the only one going through this, but it's not talked about very much. And well, I'm a very shy person, so I can't do videos. Lol. And of course I had some questions for her. I mean, wouldn't you? And she sent me a picture of what this looks like. This bone, this piece of the side of a molar coming out of her gums. And I will put that up for you all to have a look at. I asked her, is the piece of molar you're fighting with like a root tip or a piece of one, or is it attached to a tooth you still have in there? Because of course, I can't imagine the dentist missing a piece of a tooth. That's just huge. How do you miss this? And Christina said, it's a piece that isn't attached to the bone, but the dentist didn't want to dig it out as it was by a nerve cluster. So we have to wait for it to push out before we can pull it. I will send a pic too, and I'll put that picture up for you. I would honestly rather go through another round of extractions than deal with this. I've found that salt water just sitting in the area is shrinking the gums quicker, along with rubbing the area with a wet rag, just basically breaking up the gum enough for it to push out. So if you find yourself facing an issue like this, that's how Christina's dealing with it, is holding salt water in that side of her face to help dry up the gum there, and using a wash rag to try and break the gum down around it so that it has room to come out. And I can't even, with this picture, it looks downright painful, absolutely dreadful. I don't know how she's dealing with it and keeping a smile on ever. I just don't know. Now, the big white spot that you see on the picture is just the part of the fragment that's come to the surface so far. There's more of it in there. So if you can imagine, because I can't, but if you can imagine, that looks super painful. Furthermore, I'm really surprised that the dentist missed it in the first place. Like, I'm not a dentist and I don't know what it looks like when you're doing extractions, but I am flabbergasted. Then again, she did say that it was near a nerve cluster, so I can see why he would be hesitant to touch it. But I mean, you're already in there pulling teeth away from nerve clusters, so why not grab it at the side that's furthest from the nerve cluster and pull it? I don't know, I'm not a dentist, but I'm still I'm not wrapping my head around the why. Can you see smoke coming out of my ears yet? Because I feel like that's what's happening. And I told her as much. I said, I'm surprised the dentist didn't remove that. Holy cow. And Christina said, right? I was too, and even got a second opinion. But since it's not connected to anything, they say it'll work itself out and won't touch it. That makes no sense. And I told her as much. That still makes no sense. I'd want to pull it just so you wouldn't have to suffer. And I would. That would be me. Like, if I was a dentist, I would totally be like, oh my god, that looks painful. Let me get that. Then again, I'm a bit of a pimple popper. If I see something like on my husband's shoulder, I'm like, oh, let me get that. That looks painful. I know I'm weird. I'm sorry. Christina told me, right, I'm waiting until both bottom corners are out of the gum and then I will pull it myself. I've already pulled 4 small ones and 3 other small ones are working their way to the surface. And I said, wow, you're a real trooper. Because she is. Like, I'm sure I would probably, given the mouth pain that I used to have, and I used to have to break off bits of tooth that were kind of separated from the tooth and wiggling around and causing me discomfort. I'm sure I'd be able to do it too, but I mean, damn, like, that's pretty freaking special for her to just nonchalantly be like, yeah, you know, I've got these other ones and these other ones are working their way up now, and you know, no big deal, I'll pull it, whatever. It's like, it's on the same level of badass as those people that take the pliers and pull out a whole tooth themselves because they either are afraid that they cannot afford to go to the dentist, know damn well that they cannot afford to go to the dentist, or refuse to pay a dentist to do something that they can do themselves. That is some badassery and just, wow. And Christina told me after I told her that she's a real trooper, she said, ha ha ha, for the most part, yes, lol. I've been dealing with tooth pain and infections for 10 years. The slight pain from pulling fragments feels like a vacation compared to that. My grandma, dad, and older brother have been through this too, so it's a genetic issue that's... Sorry, I dropped something. I had to make sure I didn't dump over a drink. So it's a genetic issue. Where was I at? So it's a genetic issue that's caused all of the damage, but it's so hard finding other people who've had these big fragments. And I believe that because I'd never heard of the big fragments, and I thought that I'd heard of every dental problem ever because I feel like I've had every dental problem ever. Apparently I'm mistaken. And I told her I've had them splinter off of teeth while they were in my mouth before. I had to do a bit of partial extractions on myself, so that wasn't funsies. And then I told her that I'd love to get this out there for others. Usually someone with the same issue surfaces either in the groups, meaning the Facebook groups, or in my comment section. So, you know, if you've had issues with large tooth fragments or bone fragments coming up, you know, since your extractions, I would love to hear about it, and I'm sure Christina would love to hear about it. So if you could leave a comment and let us know about your experience with this, that would just be A+ in my book. Plus, you guys know I love to read and respond to all of your comments. So, yeah. Indulge me. So after that bit, Christina told me, no problem, I just don't want anyone feeling like they're alone in all of this. And I said, neither do I. That's the most important part for me. And it is, and this is why I make this video. You know, it's probably pretty weird to sit here and listen to me have a conversation with myself, or to read a conversation that I already had word for word, but you know, it's important that this information gets out. Maybe it'll help someone. Maybe somebody won't feel like they're the only one. And that's cool. There's strength in numbers. And even if the numbers aren't with you and behind you and next to you, if there are numbers and that number is greater than 1, it can go a long way to make you feel better about your own situation. And Christina said, I never thought that having dentures at 27 would feel so amazing when I get to wear them. And I know I will feel better when these fragments are gone. This big one started out looking like a small dentures sore, and over the last week and a half it is pushed out this far. So it's moving pretty quickly, and that's the thing I want people to know, is that it may seem like it's taking forever for them to move to the surface, but constantly rubbing them, even though it hurts, and constant salt water helps get them out quicker and get you back on track to healing. Once they're out, I feel no pain from that area after an hour. Also, my advice would be not to have an adjustment done where the fragment is coming out. It hurts because of the fragment, not the denture. But if you have them shape your dentures down because of it, they'll be too big and ill-fitting once it comes out. Benzodent works wonders if you have to wear your dentures over them. I usually get 2 hours without pain if I put it on my dentures and then pop them in. And I told her, and I did. I used to do that right after my extractions. It was fantastic. And it was, if you put that Benzodent right on your gums or even on the inside of your dentures and then put them in if you're having pain, boy, it goes a long way into making a comfortable wear. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't do that now because I don't generally have pain, just, you know, a little bit of itching here and there where things are healing. But back when things were really hurting, like the first week, the beginning of the second week that I had these things, boy, that was a lifesaver. I told her, this is all great stuff. What else do you want the viewers to know? Christina said that it's okay to get mad and upset. It's okay to get mad and upset. Get all your emotions out and then pick yourself up, because this pain is just temporary. And she's right. No matter what you're facing on your journey, it's okay to feel your feelings. Want to cry because you're tired of soft food? It's cathartic. Do it. Cry it out. Need to punch things because the pain is bad one night? Pillows are great for that. Couch cushions are better because they're harder and it feels like you're really making contact with something. You can really get that anger out. There's no need to put holes in walls because your face hurts. Hit something else that's not a person or breakable. Need someone to bitch to because your lower won't stay in place? No matter what you try, come to the Facebook group. Do it there. We're all willing to listen and give you encouragement, or just to agree with you if that's what you need. Trust me, even though a lot of support and a lot of uplifting, you know, post comments and that kind of thing happen in the Facebook groups, the denture support Facebook groups are also a place where you can go just to vent, and some other people will agree with you. You are allowed to bitch. You are allowed to be in a bad mood. You are allowed to be upset with something. So feel your feelings and then move on. Like Christina says, get all your emotions out and then pick yourself up, because this pain is just temporary, and it is. So I hope that this video helped some folks out a little bit. If you have questions for me or questions for Christina, put them in the comment section, and you know, I will get back to you with whatever answers there are to your questions. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you for giving this video a like. I will be back tomorrow with another video for you folks, but in the meantime, be good to each other, keep smiling, and keep being awesome.